Welcome to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Polly Niskova.
And I'm Kinsey Grant. Breaking this afternoon, the top two senators on the Intelligence Committee say they have seen no indication that Trump Tower was the subject of surveillance by the U.S. government before or after the 2016 election. President Donald Trump accused former President Barack Obama of wiretapping him and asked congressional committees investigating Russia's interference into the election to pursue that accusation as well. Republican Senator Richard Burr and Democratic Senator Mark Warner issued a joint one-sentence statement and did not elaborate. The two senators are leading one of three congressional investigations into Russia and the presidential election. The probes include looking into Trump associates' contacts with the Kremlin. In response to Trump's claims, the Justice Department is doing its own review of whether Trump or any of his associates were the subjects of surveillance.
The Justice Department announced charges against 4 individuals the government believes are responsible for a massive hack involving 500 million Yahoo accounts. 2 of those individuals work for the Russian Federal Security Service. CNN's Diane Gallagher has the details from Washington.
We're here to announce a major law enforcement action related to one of the largest data breaches in U.S. history.
4 indictments, including 2 Russian spies in connection with the 2014 hacking of at least 500 million Yahoo accounts. Now, according to the Department of Justice, Dmitry Dokuchayev and Igor Sushchin, 2 officers with the Russian Federal Security Service, or FSB, were the masterminds.
The defendants targeted Yahoo accounts of Russian and U.S. government officials, including cybersecurity, diplomatic, and military personnel.
And while the 2 paid hackers may have used stolen information to, quote, line their pockets, the DOJ believes the FSB officers likely had other motives.
These FSB officers used criminal hackers to gain information that clearly some of which has intelligence value.
Yahoo CEO publicly thanked the DOJ.
If you illegally target U.S. citizens or American companies, you will be identified, pursued, and held to account wherever you are.
The acting assistant attorney general says the 2 FSB officers were with a unit that is the FBI's point of contact on cybercrime.
And rather than do that type of work, they actually turned, sort of against that type of work.
One of the hackers indicted by the DOJ was arrested in Canada Tuesday, while one of the FSB officers is already in custody in Russia. He's one of 4 people charged with spying for the U.S., according to a lawyer for one of the men. In Washington, Diane Gallagher.
A North Carolina man pleaded guilty to felony murder and other charges after a police chase ends with a deadly crash. Tyquan McCargo fled from state police in December after being pulled over for speeding on Interstate 81. The chase resulted in the death of Fairfield man Ricky Deacon. At his hearing Monday, McCargo apologized to Deacon's family, saying he never meant to take a loved one from them.
The Trump administration has unveiled its budget outline, and we're taking a close look at the numbers. The America First outline appears to put an emphasis on the military and keeping the U.S. safe, with spending increases planned for defense, homeland security, and veterans affairs. But significant spending cuts are planned in several cabinet departments and federal agencies, including a 29% spending slash at the State Department and a 31% cut at the EPA. Labor and agriculture also see cuts of more than 20%. The outline is only a blueprint of the budget. The Trump administration is expected to release its full budget in May. President Donald Trump's proposed budget for 2018 includes significant cuts for the Environmental Protection Agency. His proposal eliminates federal funding for the program that has supported Chesapeake Bay cleanup for decades. Last year, this program alone received $73 million. Other regional environmental efforts will also be affected by the budget cuts. Lawmakers will have the final say on this proposal.
A federal judge in Hawaii has blocked President Trump's new travel ban from going into effect. This ruling, which applies nationwide, would have blocked travelers from 6 Muslim-majority countries from coming to the U.S. The judge sided with Hawaii's Attorney General, who argued that parts of the ban go against the Constitution and laws of the country, and that the ban would hurt his state economically. The new travel ban was set to go into effect at 12:01 Thursday morning. President Donald Trump said the ruling is politically motivated and, quote, makes us look weak.
We're going to fight this terrible ruling. We're going to take our case as far as it needs to go, including all the way up to the Supreme Court. We're going to win. We're going to keep our citizens safe.
Be prepared to pay more. The Federal Reserve has raised its key interest rate by 1/4 percentage point. It's just the third time rates have gone up since the financial crisis, and more hikes may come this year. In Consumer Watch, Mary Maloney explains what the rate increase means for your wallet.
Higher rates have come back to America. Of course, one rate hike won't change the world, but if you have a credit card, if you invest in stocks or bonds, or want to buy a house or a car, you should probably pay attention. Hate to say it, your credit cards will get more expensive. Credit card companies typically mirror the Fed, so chances are the interest rate you pay could rise soon. If you can, pay off your balances fast, or transfer your balance to a zero-interest card to give you a little bit more time. Car loan companies tend to do the same thing as credit card companies. Expect to see similar increases on that car loan rate. Likewise, if you're shopping for a new mortgage, even though the Fed doesn't directly set mortgage rates, don't expect to see your savings account fatten. To start seeing more interest on your money, the Fed will have to raise rates higher, which it may do at least 2 more times this year. For Consumer Watch, I'm Mary Maloney.
President Trump and House Speaker Paul Ryan say changes will likely be made to the GOP's plan to repeal and replace Obamacare. This after growing opposition from some Republicans over the plan. Suzanne Malveaux of CNN reports.
We're doing it a different way, a complex way. It's fine. The end result is when you have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, it's going to be great.
President Trump attempting to reassure his supporters amid growing opposition to the GOP's health care plan.
We're going to arbitrate. We're going to all get together. We're going to get something done.
Calling the House bill preliminary and acknowledging work needs to be done.
I think we're going to have negotiation.
House Speaker Paul Ryan also conceding that his plan must change to pass the House.
Now that we have our score from the CBO, that's something we were waiting for. Now that we've got it, we've got room to make it refinements.
A significant retreat from his earlier position that the bill would fail if big changes were made. Ryan bristling at the question of whether it would pass as is.
It's not coming up this afternoon. It's going through the legislative process. That legislative process has not been finalized. That's kind of no offense, kind of a goofy question or faulty premise.
House leadership facing an uphill climb. They can only afford to lose 21 Republican votes. CNN's whip count already has 19 lawmakers on the record saying they will vote no or are leaning against it. The chairman of the House Freedom Caucus says he believes he has enough votes to block the bill, as Trump's health secretary made the pitch directly to the American people at a CNN town hall last night.
Those of us who are privileged to implement that policy, what we'll do is try to listen to the principles that the American people have told us are dear to them.
Even as Republicans move to repeal Obamacare, an estimated 12.2 million people enrolled in it this year. Over 750,000 more people signed up under an Obama-era law called the Basic Health Plan, which is available in New York and Minnesota.
Coming up after the break, new details emerge in the Navy prostitution scandal. We'll give you an update on that and other problems in the military.
And a kickboxing class is raising money for an unlikely cause. We'll take you to Buena Vista to show you who will benefit.
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary. Only you can prevent wildfires.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
way. He doesn't even know that we're here. Is he okay? Please tell me he's okay. Laura. Okay, try to call him again. There's no signal. Try. Nothing's working. Well, just everything's down. This is so bad. He's out there by himself.
Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov.
Voters in the Netherlands rejected far-right candidate Geert Wilders Wednesday, but his Party for Freedom received 13% of the vote in the country's parliamentary election. The percentage was enough for 20 seats in the country's 150-seat parliament. Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte's conservative VVD party won the election with 21% of the vote, good enough for 33 seats. This means that Rutte will most likely lead the Dutch government. All right, Catherine, I'm going to ask the question on everybody's mind. What is going on with our weather right now? I mean, we had some spring, but now it's like we're back in the middle of winter.
I know. It's going to be a little chilly the next couple days, but don't worry, it's going to warm up early in the week. Let's take a look at our live shot over Woods Creek and take a look at the almanac for today. We had a chilly high of 39 today and a low of 21. We're reading 30.18 inches of mercury on the barometer and 12-mile-per-hour wind speeds, and humidity is at 32%. For the area weather, we have Charlottesville with 43, Covington with a chilly 28, Lexington 37, and Roanoke at 38. Sunny across the board. We can take a look at our radar screen, which looks like we have a little bit of movement coming in, which could explain for the rain that's coming in the next couple days. Let's take a look at our 5-day forecast. We have Friday, it's supposed to rain with a high of 48 and a low of 37. Saturday, we have partly sunny with a chance of rain with a high of 61 and a low of 32. Sunny on Sunday with a high of 50 and a low of 28. Still warm on Monday with a high of 57 and a low of 40, but a chance of rain again on Tuesday with a high of 60 and a low of 34. That's your 5-day forecast. Kinsey and Polly, back to you.
Southern Virginia women's basketball coach Heather Roberts wanted to mesh her passions for fitness and service in a new series of fitness classes. Faith Isbell has the story.
It might look like an average kickboxing class. For instructor Heather Roberts, it's much more than that. It's a great workout for a great cause, what she calls kickboxing for refugees.
Especially us in America, I think that we've been given so much, and I think that we have a lot of freedoms that maybe sometimes that we take for granted.
The hour-long kickboxing class is open to students, faculty, and the public alike every Tuesday night. The class is in its 3rd week, but it has already brought in more than a dozen participants.
It makes me so happy. It's so fun. And it's very intense, but it's very empowering.
Roberts can't require donations, but she encourages a $2 contribution. The donations will go to Mercy Corps, an international relief agency based in her home state of Oregon.
What if that was me? What if I was in that country and I just wanted to raise my children in peace?
Roberts also set up an account on Go Jane Give, an online fundraising platform for women. Roberts has been criticized by some on Facebook for choosing to help refugees rather than causes closer to home, but she remains undeterred.
And I think we should want to help families that just simply want to raise their families in safety.
Jerry Ney of the Refugee Working Group in Lexington agrees.
The volunteer effort in this thing is very, very reassuring and very, very loving.
SVU Student Life Coordinator April Harris sees a spirit of service not only in Roberts, but also throughout the student body. The class is held weekly in the Kimball Student Center. It will end on April 25th. I'm Faith Isbell with the Rockbridge Report.
Maury Service Authority Executive Director Jerry Higgins says accommodating Washington and Lee's new 589,000-gallon natatorium won't be an issue for Lexington. Higgins said it's manageable to drain and fill the pool over the course of several days if the university notifies the city. W&L Capital Projects Director Tom Kolaski said the natatorium is currently closed for construction. W&L Associate Athletics Director Elizabeth LaRose says she thinks the natatorium will open sometime this spring.
Enderley Elementary is working with FW Kling Elementary to raise SOL scores and regain accreditation. Enderley has failed to achieve accreditation for 4 years and has created a 6-step corrective action plan to change this trend. The plan includes everyone from teachers to administrators to the school board to make sure that Buena Vista students are still getting the best education possible. The plan mainly ensures that the curriculum lines up with what is on the SOL tests. Perry McClure Middle and High Schools achieved accreditation last year. Buena Vista Superintendent John Keeler is hopeful that the corrective action plan will work for Enderley by 2020. Coming up after the break, a sea lion in California went on an unlikely adventure.
Hi, may I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your GED.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future and sign up for free classes now at yourged.org.
If you store your guns properly, I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
I won't have to tell so many family members. I'm sorry.
I won't hear as many scary stories.
And I won't have to tell my kids. This isn't a drill.
Please.
Please, do it for us.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always, lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
No more pencils, no more books, no more teachers, dirty looks.
School's out!
For summer.
What this place needed was better graduation rates. So we worked with schools like Henry Ford High, and now they're up 18%. To help us do more good this year, go to unitedway.org, because great things happen when we live united.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play, what you wear, how you dance, or even what direction life takes you. You just need to be there. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
A grand jury indictment is shedding new light on a bribery and sex scandal allegedly involving senior U.S. Navy officers and a defense contractor known as Fat Leonard. CNN's Brian Todd has the story.
Prosecutors say retired Rear Admiral Bruce Loveless and 8 other officers accepted luxury travel, expensive dinners, and prostitutes, and in return gave a civilian contractor classified information about their ship's movements.
This is beyond the pale. When you look at the ranks and the level of officers that are involved in this scandal, it is something the Navy has not dealt with literally in decades.
According to the indictment just unsealed, when some of the officers docked in Manila in 2007, they went to a party at the MacArthur Suite in the Manila Hotel. Quote, during the party, historical memorabilia related to General Douglas MacArthur were used by the participants in sexual acts. The contractor who allegedly supplied the lavish gifts and parties was this man, Leonard Glenn Francis, also known as Fat Leonard, a wealthy, flamboyant executive who ran a marine contracting agency which provided dockside services to U.S. Navy ships. Fat Leonard Francis has pleaded guilty in the case and is awaiting sentencing. But until now, many of the details of what happened were not public. In May 2008, according to prosecutors, Francis allegedly paid for Admiral Loveless and 5 other Navy men to stay at the Shangri-La Hotel in Manila. In the indictment, prosecutors write, Francis hosted a raging multi-day party with a rotating carousel of prostitutes in attendance, during which the conspirators drank all of the Dom Perignon available at the Shangri-La, to the tune of more than $50,000. For some officers, in 2006, there was a dinner in Singapore with a foie gras terrine, duck leg confit, roasted Chilean sea bass, followed by expensive drinks and Cohiba cigars, $2,000 per box. Prosecutors say in return, the officers helped steer Navy ships to ports operated by Francis, where he overbilled the Navy tens of millions of dollars. Experts say Admiral Loveless, who was a top intelligence officer, and the others charged, took massive risks that could have exposed American secrets.
They're susceptible to being blackmailed by foreign intelligence agencies, by other corporations, by this person himself, who they've been involved with.
An attorney for Admiral Loveless said neither he nor his client would comment. The top U.S. Marine told Congress he intends to fix the problem that led to current and former Corps members sharing nude photos of female Marines online and making lewd or threatening comments about them. General Robert Neller vowed to hold Marines accountable through whatever legal and other means possible. He acknowledged the scandal may hurt female recruiting and that changes have to be made in the Marine culture where some male Marines don't accept women in the ranks. The Naval Criminal Investigative Service has launched an investigation into the matter.
Reports of sexual assault increased at 2 military academies last year. Assault reports rose at the Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland, and at the Military Academy at West Point. Assault reports dropped at the Air Force Academy in Colorado. Pentagon officials say the increase is because more people are reporting sexual assaults, which they see as a positive trend because it suggests students have more confidence in the system and a greater willingness to seek help. The Pentagon is encouraging the academies to increase the amount of time they spend talking about how future leaders must foster a climate of dignity and respect. A Northern California sea lion is back home after swimming through a canal earlier this week. Officials tried to help the sea lion, but it resisted and swam 50 miles toward the Sacramento River Delta on its own. Marine Mammal Center spokesman Giancarlo Rulli said that the mammal is fat and looked healthy and seemed to be enjoying his adventure.
Coming up after the break, one local team has already played in their first March Madness game. We'll tell you the result.
But first, the Perry McClure girls basketball team has a reason to celebrate.
Jimmy can't sing, and Tommy can't dance, so we're gonna put some ants in their pants. Aww.
Kids will spend 22 minutes watching us, the super duper party troopers, sing about ants in their pants.
Isn't that funny? Ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Every budget, so don't accept defeat.
Now you can get covered and still buy me treats.
You take care of your pets. Now it's their turn to take care of you. Visit getcoveredamerica.org to learn about your health insurance options.
Mac, we're only a couple of hours into March Madness, and I have to say, my bracket's already busted, but I hear the girls in BV are having better luck.
That's absolutely right. A team of high school girls is joining the ranks of Buena Vista sports legends like Charlie Manuel, the manager of the 2008 World Series champion Philadelphia Phillies. Sutton Travis has the story.
The Perry McClure Lady Blues defeated top-seeded George Wythe to earn the 1A basketball state title last Thursday. Coach Adam Gilbert led the team to Buena Vista's first ever basketball state championship.
That means the world to me, and I know it meant the world to the kids. We're just very appreciative of everybody's support.
The team made it to the state semifinals last year, so this year's season wasn't a surprise. But there are no guarantees in sports.
Seeing the community come back behind the teams again is something that happened in the past, and it's great to see it again.
Of the 12 girls on the team, 9 are sophomores. Some have been playing together on a recreational league travel team since they were in 5th grade. Gilbert says it shows.
They would get along no matter what. They're just good kids. They enjoy the game of basketball. They enjoy playing together.
WLUR sports announcer Jeremy Franklin covers local high school and college sports, including the Old Dominion Athletic Conference. He says several of the Lady Blues are talented enough to play at the next level.
Having covered the ODAC for many, many years in Division III, almost any player on that team could play in the ODAC.
But for now, they're enjoying the moment.
A lot of us have wanted this for a long time, and to be able to get there is just a great accomplishment for all of us.
School officials are planning a banquet in late April to honor the team. That's when they'll get their championship rings. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Sutton Travis.
It is that time of year again when buzzer beaters abound and brackets get busted. Yes, it is the peak of March Madness, and we'll update you on the few finals that have already occurred on day one of tournament action. And boy, have we had some close ones already. The University of Virginia Cavaliers played in a tight contest against the Seahawks of UNC Wilmington, but the Wahoos came out victorious by a final score of 76-71. London Parentez poured in 24 points for UVA, while Marielle Shayok added 23 off the bench. The Cavs are going to face the winner of Florida and East Tennessee State University on Saturday. Princeton made a concerted comeback effort against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. However, the Tigers came up just short, losing 58-60 after failing to make a go-ahead bucket with less than 20 seconds to go. Fifth-seeded Notre Dame advances and will play the winner of West Virginia and Bucknell, a game which is going on currently, on Saturday. The Butler Bulldogs defeated the Winthrop Eagles this afternoon by 12 points. The fourth-seeded Bulldogs won 76-64 behind a strong performance from Avery Woodson, who scored 18 points on 60% shooting from the three-point line. That is outstanding. He also contributed 5 rebounds. The Bulldogs are headed to the round of 32, where they will face the winner of Minnesota and Middle Tennessee State. Additionally, the number 1 seeded Gonzaga Bulldogs down the 16th seeded South Dakota State Jackrabbits. The final score was 66-46 for Mark Few's Bulldogs. Outside of basketball, Rockbridge County High School and Perry McClure will face off on the baseball diamond in just a few minutes. The Wildcats, who lost a scrimmage and also won in a jamboree, will host the Untested Blues at 5 o'clock. The Washington Elite women's swim team sent several athletes to the national championship meet in Shenandoah, Texas. The 200-yard medley relay of Emily Rollo, Cassidy Fuller, Emily Hedgeback, and Allie McQueen set a new school record on the way to a 7th place finish. The quartet finished in 1 minute, 43.36 seconds. Those four are joined by Kelly Amar, Elizabeth Holmes, Elle Chansey, and Laura Bruce. The Lady Generals will be competing in 3 finals tonight and will continue swimming tomorrow as well. Sticking with aquatics, the VMI women's water polo team is off to an outstanding start to its season. The Lady Keydets are 10-2 overall, suffering only their 2nd loss yesterday to top 25 ranked Cal Baptist. The team is currently on a West Coast road trip and will face Occidental today in Los Angeles at 5. That's it for sports. Back to Polly and Kenzie.
Kentucky is on the verge of developing a nuclear power plant. The state legislature plans to lift its decades-long ban on nuclear energy. Although it is the nation's 3rd largest coal producer, the Kentucky coal industry has been steadily declining for decades. 15 states have bans on the construction of nuclear power facilities. Kentucky legislators have been working to pass a bill to lift this ban. The bill has passed through the Senate and is awaiting a vote by the House of Representatives. If the bill passes, a nuclear power plant could still take more than 10 years to build, but it would open up the possibility of nuclear energy for Kentucky.
A $700 popcorn ball has been returned to the suburban Cleveland shop from where it was stolen last weekend. The Chagrin Falls Popcorn Shop has created the 70-pound red, white, and blue snack for the New Year's Eve popcorn ball drop. It was found intact on Wednesday after the shop owner gave a statement saying no charges would be filed if it were returned.
That's all for today's Rockbridge Report. Tune in Tuesday at 3 for our live news update.
And visit our website at any time at rockbridgereport.wlu.edu. Thank you for watching.